Well, what says spring better than a plush green lawn with flowers everywhere? It'll be springtime before you know it, and the time is now to get your yard ready.
Yeah, sounds almost dreamy.
It does.
You know, our home expert Tom Garcia shows you how to get a jump start on gardening.
Well, guys, I know spring's not quite here, but now is the time to get ready for spring. This is the prime time these next several weeks. And I've got Phil Stilton here with me with New Garden. Phil, that's what we want people to understand. Right now, we don't wait for spring to actually come, the grass start. We want to start now.
Exactly. Now is the time for our homeowners out there to really think about weeds that they have existing in the lawn as well as weeds that are to come. So we're thinking about broadleaf weed control. We're thinking about pre-emergent and fertilizer. All those things this is the perfect time to get those out in your yard. But the key element that we need to know is how much square footage do they have?
Yeah, and that's important because you don't want to over put the amount of material or under. You want to get just right.
Exactly, correct.
I know many times on the backs, if folks checks the back of their bags of product, it'll give them a gauge of how much material per square foot or per 1,000 square feet.
That's exactly right. And too much or too little, you're doing disservice to your lawn and can also harm your lawn. So very important to know how much you want to cover and how much you need to put out depending on the product you use, and very important to read all the labels as you were saying on the back of this bag here.
Again, this is a granular product. Some of these are liquid product you actually attach to a hose type system, right?
Correct, and a lot of your liquid products like this are going to be for weeds that already exist. So you have a lot of winter annuals out there that you want to get rid of. This is going to be your product for that, and this is going to help with things like crabgrass, getting the fertilizer in your lawn, getting it up and growing, and an early green up.
Absolutely fabulous. So guys, that's what we want to do. We want to get it out now. So several weeks from now, when spring arrives, warm up and the grass starts coming up, it'll have all the nutrients it needs to be prosperous, and the weeds will be in decline. Back to you guys.
It's on my honey-do list.
That's it. Poor Mike.
You have one of those, right?
It's like this long.
Well, Tom is always available to answer any home and garden questions you might have for yourself or for your spouse.
That's right. Just shoot him an email. Actually, ask him to do it.
Yeah.
Tom@southernevergreen.com. This morning, we are helping you get your lawn and garden ready for the spring. It starts with taking out the old and making room for the new. Here's our home expert, Tom Garcia, with some gardening tips.
Well, team, not only do we have to worry about our lawns, right, but we want to think about our gardens as well. I've got Meredith Story with me. She's one of the experts here on the gardens. And Meredith, this is a great time to go in and do some pruning before things start blooming back.
Yes, sir. This is a perfect time of year to prune on the shrubs that will be blooming later in the season, meaning they're going to be blooming on the new growth. An example of that is the crepe myrtle.
And that's great. And as you were showing me earlier, these little guys here are the things you want to cut, right?
Exactly. The interior, thinner growth on the inside that's going to cross and rub and interfere with that branch, you just want to cut it off right at the stem.
Very good. And then the things that we make sure folks don't want to prune back are like this little azalea right here, which azalea is so popular here in the south.
Correct. Yeah, azaleas, these have already made their flower buds last summer and fall, and they've overwintered with the buds. So if you were to cut that now, you wouldn't get the bloom. So you want to leave azaleas alone right now.
Very good. So so in general, other plants, I mean, how can we better tell what plants we want to cut back, which ones not?
Well, that's a really good question and a very common question. The plants that you're seeing blooming very early in the spring, generally they already had their buds over the winter. So the ones that are blooming later in the summer, you can prune on them now.
Prune them now. And so again, sometimes I see crepe myrtles that are really cut back dramatically. Is that?
That's not the best advice. It's called topping, and we don't advise doing that to crepe myrtles. They don't really need to. They have the best structure and form if they're let go pretty natural, with cutting out the center, the thinner growth, and then the interior crossing limbs.
There you go, guys. So just a little bit of pruning every year, like Meredith is saying, is really going to make for a beautiful crepe myrtle, and that's the way I like them as well. So, all right, back to you guys. Take care of those gardens.
And if you have any ideas or questions, you can shoot Tom an email anytime. He's at tom@southernevergreen.com. You know, upgrading your home's curb appeal doesn't have to be complicated, costly, or time-consuming.
This morning, our home expert Tom Garcia has some simple ideas. Take a look.
All right, guys, so now we want to talk about design out there and really making a statement at your home, maybe at that front entrance, really anywhere in your yard. And I've got Jim Keene here with me. He's the landscape designer here at New Garden. Jim, let's talk about what are some of the elements we need to look for when we want to make that statement at the front entrance to our home?
Well, you want to think about that quick curb appeal for the spring. You know, you want to probably do some bed cleanup, get those leaves out that have kind of wandered around during the winter time, get those cleaned out, some fresh mulch edging, fresh mulch on the beds, and then, you know, even look at popping some fresh color in there.
Absolutely, and so you've got some beautiful color just right here in this little corner that we're standing. And I know one of the things that that I see designers such as you do a lot of grouping together. I see. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, we like to do the masses more than the individual ones. When you do the masses, it just gives more of an impact versus what we call onesie twosie. So I do like to do sweeps and masses of color and textures, so it has more of an impact.
Just like here, instead of having just one, you group some together in a grouping and keep it that way.
Absolutely, it makes more of a visual statement when you have those groupings and layering versus just a one. You know,
let's talk about the layering also, because I know it's another important element in terms of the scale of plants as you go from the front of the bed to the back of the bed.
Right, absolutely. You want to think about that, and really we encourage you to read the plant tags or speak to us about that. You know, we like to do the large, medium, small, ground cover, give those beds plenty of room, you know, pull those plants away from the house. Just because a 3-gallon plant here in the nursery looks small, read those specs. It's going to get big.
And finally, I know there's folks like you are available. Folks come in if they have a question and such. You're available, and designers are available to talk to them and help them lay their landscaping out.
Absolutely. We'd love to help out any way we could. Whatever we could do to help out. We're looking forward to spring.
Terrific. Guys, they got a great program called We Plan, You Plant. It's really terrific, so we recommend it to our viewers. Back to you guys.
I know you have some burning questions right now that he's gotten you started, right? So Tom is always available to answer any home and garden questions you might have.
Just drop in an email. His email address is tom@southernevergreen.com.
If you want some fresh, cool weather vegetables in your garden this spring, you might want to start planting now. Ooh, sounds good.
Our home expert, Tom Garcia, has tips on what to plant, how to plant, and where to plant it. Take a look.
Well, guys, not only are we talking about landscaping, the beautiful time of spring, but also it's a great time to grow those cool weather vegetables. I got Jeremy Warren with me. Jeremy is the expert over here for New Garden. Jeremy, let's talk about this. Now's the time to get those cool weather vegetables in the ground.
Yep, now's a great time to be getting your broccoli planted, your potatoes planted, some onions and garlic planted, anything. Cauliflower, spinach, arugula, all of those things are a great thing to get planted.
And all the lettuces as well.
Absolutely, lettuces. And lettuces, it's a great time to start them in containers right now, so that if we have some super freezing nights, we can protect them just a little bit. But in the next week or two, it's going to be a great time to get those lettuces planted in the ground.
And so how do we prepare that ground? If we had a little space, maybe it's only just a little 4x4 section, we want to create a little vegetable garden. How do we need to prepare that soil?
Well, compost, 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 always. Organic matter is the key. Manure helps. Lime is generally a good idea. If you've done a soil test, it can tell you exactly how much. If not, a couple of 3 pounds per 100 square feet is a good place to start. Get the ground turned to 18 to 24 inches, 2 to 3 inches of compost on top of the ground, and then turned into the top 18 inches of soil is a very good place.
Very good. And I know these are very easy to plant. You've got all the assortments, and then even the seeds here, again, which is a wonderful thing because seeds are so inexpensive.
Absolutely, and most stuff does very, very well from seed, and does actually better from seed than it will from transplant.
Yeah, I mean, I know a pack of seeds is what, like 50 cents or something. I mean, it's just very inexpensive for a pack of seeds.
Very inexpensive. Like I say, a lot of your root crops, like radishes and carrots and things like that, they have to be planted from seed. They really will not do well from a transplant.
There you go, guys. So it's just a great way to get that vegetable garden going. Get it going now. It's the perfect time. And again, seeds are very inexpensive, and it's just a fun thing, especially with the kids. Get them involved. Back to you guys.
Great tips there. I always try to transplant, and I never have very good luck. One year I yielded 1 tomato out of like 5 tomato plants. So seeds, I'm going to try it this way instead.
This might be your year, Lauren. All right, Tom always is available to answer any home and garden questions you might have.
Just email him, tom@southernevergreen.com.